Hi, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Lolade, and I will be your guide for TownSquare. If you don't know about TownSquare, this is our second session. Actually, we had a pilot in May, and that pilot talked about whether monogamy is something that is natural or something that we were just conditioned to accept and uphold. This evening, we're going to be talking about survival and how survival is affecting our morality. Before I go into the topic, actually, let me talk about what Town Square is supposed to be. We at Good, we notice that a lot of conversations happen online. The comment sections are always like heated. Everyone has like different, no matter how true you think your opinion is, someone with the opposite opinion would have something to share. And you just realize that they believe it so fully. Like everyone has their perspective. But there's no open dialogue because we're kind of all in a screen, right? We're not physically, there's no presence. It just, different people just share their opinions and that's just it. And we decided to bring back presence to the equation, gathering people from different walks of life, different generations, different age groups, everyday people, all of us, to form a community that is ready to have that conversations again. So that's what Town Square is. And Town Square is brought to you by Good. Please clap for me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So yes, with no further ado, I am going to enter into the conversation. So I'm going to start with a question. So I want us to reflect first of all, and then use this as a way to open the conversation. Let's think about the last time you justified doing something you knew wasn't completely right because life felt difficult. Was there ever a time that we've done that? Let's just think about it for a second. And then let's ask, should we judge people by their actions alone or by the circumstances that produce those actions? Who wants to answer first?
Hi, everyone. My name is Dami. I'm still thinking, I'm still reflecting, but to be honest, I think I have been in circumstances where I had to make a decision that would harm somebody else. And I'm sure like many of us have been in that situation. So harm doesn't necessarily like mean extreme, even like jump a queue, for instance. And I think for me, I'll go a bit personal. My first son was diagnosed with a hole in his heart. And we were in Nigeria then, and they took us to Lut. And if you see the queue, but then we had to call somebody that we know somebody that knows somebody. And I saw us moving from the fifth or seventh person to into a word. So I sat down to reflect when you asked this question again. I found myself there. Did I remember how many people may have been harmed by that mere decision to move my son forward? I didn't even think about it. Um, by God's grace, he's fine. He's 13 years old, and also I'm happy about it. So I can't even say is a right, there is a good or a wrong answer. But I think for me, what I've observed is that when we do something, we always wish that people listen to our explanation for our why, even when we hurt other people with it. So we want to explain, we want to justify. But when the tables are turned, we only just look at the people's action and we don't even give rooms for why did you do it, why did you not do it. We don't think or introspect on anything underneath that. So honestly, this is quite an interesting one. I would not say left or right, but I've come open and vulnerable enough to tell you I have been there. And I'm also that type of person that if I do something to hurt someone, I also want to explain.
Depends on context, first of all, right? Because again, what is moral to me might not be moral to another person as well. I mean, how many of you here have never jumped a queue before? Queue scenario. Me, I did not even jump the queue. They were giving them number. I went to write my own number myself and I used it to enter because they were stressing me. I mean, in that moment, I already done my due diligence of I'm in Nigeria, but then I saw people coming in front of me and it was like, me that have been here since morning. I don't have to rest, but I got tired and I also gamed the system. At the end of it, did I feel good about it? I don't know. But I was able to do what I wanted to do at that moment. So I feel like at the end of the day, there are also sometimes that you get to your limit and you're like, you know what, let me just do this thing and get over it. Again, what is moral to me might not be moral to another person. There are people that will just jump in the queue and they won't even line up. They will just, and there are some of us that will still use church mind from the beginning and it gets tiring, you know. So again, depends on context and yeah, what is moral to you.
So my question, like while you were speaking, I was just thinking, where does morality actually stem from? Do we have like a natural instinct? I know some people talk about like conscience. What is the root? Some people even say, I've seen online, some people would say if we didn't have religion, we won't know wrong from right. Do you think that's true? Is religion the root of morality? Is it a natural human inkling? Is it tied to legality? I think that's even a good place to start from to even know.
Hi everyone, my name is Oluwafunke, and I'd like to say that yes, religion shapes like our context for what is right and wrong. It gives us a compass so that a lot of people are able to agree on certain things being right and being wrong. Yes, without religion, everybody would have their moral compass, skilled as may be. But with religion, it gives us a form of direction, a community, a guidebook, sort of, to know that this is the generally agreed good and this is the generally agreed bad. Doesn't mean everybody would live by it. Like she said, hardship and certain situations would make you want to, do things and justify it to yourself that if you hear my story, if you hear where I'm coming from, this is actually right.
While you were talking about like giving examples, I was also thinking about our context, like the Nigerian context, and a lot of things that are happening right now. And I was thinking in general around the topic of survival, which is like the main theme of what we're saying, how survival is affecting our sense of morality. And I'd like us to think about whether survival has become so difficult that it's changing what we actually consider acceptable. So before, I think we've come to a level in civilization that we've internalized, morality. But suddenly it's feeling like that might be changing. Do you guys think so? And is it because of the difficulty of survival?
I hope this will answer your question. I saw something online 2, 3 days ago. I don't know how true it is. It was a screenshot from Twitter where a lady was talking about bandits doing giveaway online about 50 million naira. And people were openly posted their OP accounts and their various bank accounts. And how do you rationalize that? Yeah, I get it. Things are difficult. We all need to survive. But then you can see the clear consequence of what these people are doing and the actions. And to be very fair, I've even deleted social media because the news gets too much for me. But that just kind of made me think, especially about what you're saying, like, have we become so numb? And I don't even know if this is, should we consider morality, humanity? Because God forbid your family member was part of the people kidnapped. Would you be openly posted your account number asking a clear criminal for money? I just think human beings are greedy. I don't think it's survival. I think it's just greed. And the fact that there's this Nigerian thing of you never reach me, never touch me, so it's not my business. Like if it's not at my doorstep, if it's not directly affecting me, it's not my business. But I don't think that's survival. I think that's just, I don't need the word. God, please give me. Apart from greed, evil.
I don't think it's necessarily greed. I just think we're all Nigerians here, so we know money is the center of everything we do, right? It's tied to everything we do. So the entire culture of Nigeria, the entire Nigerian culture has been built around worshiping or making money the number one do all and end all, right? I brought up this topic in the office before I came here. And then imagine my surprise when people were like, they don't think morality really affects survival. They think we live in Nigeria now. You should be able to do anything to get money. At the end of the day, you need money to survive. So to them, they're able to justify these things with, if I don't do this, I won't get money. If I don't get money, I won't eat. If I don't like, it's easy for. I don't want to project, but I recognize my privilege when I talk about certain things, right? The person that is posting, I'm not justifying what they did. That's actually terrible. Like it's terrible. But to them, they don't. To them, they're like, it's free 10K, 10K that I cannot work for. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So they're able to justify these things because money is the center of everything we do. Because at the end of the day, in Nigeria, if you don't have money, you're not human. Let's be honest. You're not a human being. So to them, they're able to justify these shady things that they do. And then you see it in the news. People are doing really, really heinous things for money now. And then you check the comment section and people are like, Fairs, I would do it too. Like back in the day, it's shameful to say that I'm doing money ritual. Now people openly post these things on the internet because Nigerians are looking for money. So I feel like this conversation should start more of, we need to start decentering money, but that's a very difficult conversation to have considering the climate that we live in right now. So if I say that, it's like I'm being insensitive or I'm being obtuse, like as if I don't know what's actually happening out there. Do you understand? But do you people understand the point I'm trying to pass across?
Where do we draw the line? So while I recognize the privilege, and I would say that I'm someone, when I see people selling their votes, for example, I know someone who stays in Ogun State, and he was there during the last or two elections, whatever cycle, and he said they were literally paying these guys 1,000 naira. So basically, you do the thumbprint and then you quickly show someone. And then when you drop in the box, the person gives you 1K. And it was like right in front of him. These people are going to buy bread and cook. So I get it and I recognize that privilege. But I feel like with the bandits, that's a totally different thing. Like it's no longer about Nigeria is a poor country. It will shock you, Nigerians. Some of these people will still have 50K in their account and they are struggling for 2K. That's how we are. But for you to openly post your account number, yeah, there's obviously something off.
So I want to dial things back. I want to dial things back. Let's go to the very beginning. I'd like to say that there's something about man in its nature or in his nature that makes you push boundaries. And if we go back to the very beginning, well, the beginning that I know being a Christian, you find that in the Bible. They said they had everything. Work was there, this was there were many fruits. I mean, all the pictures, all the stories that we've been told. Yet, it was just this one thing of there's this fruit here, don't eat of it. And what did man do? Man was not surviving at that point. It wasn't a survival thing. It was once there's like a rule around something, your mind starts to want to, what's the word, have a piece of it, so to speak. And you find that that is true because God could have left you people in the garden, but he said these people, before they go and eat of the next one, let's get them out. So I feel like innately there's something within us that keeps pushing the boundaries. And I've been hearing a lot of, in Nigeria, it's not just a Nigerian thing. I feel like globally, the definition of morals, has started to change. There were certain things before that, people will say it can never happen. What they were calling bad before. So it's like that thing where we're just gradually pushing the lines and pushing the lines and, we keep moving and, pushing forward, at the end of the day. So I don't believe that it is a function of survival.
Yeah.
There are certain people, and you still find them till tomorrow, that would never do certain things, not because they are also not feeling the pain, but there's the values that you stand by. There are people that are not Christians, they are not Muslims. They just have a principle that these are the things that I would never do. So at the end of the day, if we as individuals don't draw the line, whatever your line is, we're always going to have this issue where we then blame it on survival. The same way, dialing back to the very beginning, was a case of, oh, the woman gave me to it. So I feel like we're here again, saying that story to say is because of survival. You expose two individuals to same situations where they're told to choose between, surviving or, doing what we term as moral. And you would find that one would go to the moral route and you find that the other one will go for survival. So my question is, can we say that survival is enough reason for us to start to act in the way that we're acting these days?
All right, so I think I'll be guilty of taking us back a bit because I feel like maybe the conversation is a bit too narrow, and it takes me back a bit to ethics class about the question always is does morality precede religion, right? And if you believe in evolution, for instance, which is really about the topic, is morality about survival? You cannot, we arrived at ethics and morality and a sense of right and wrong because we needed to live as a society, right? If everybody devises their individual moralities, we cannot survive as a society, right? So in that sense, morality and a system of ethics is sort of like is loosely something we agree on and we say this is how we're going to live in society, right? Somewhere down the line, it becomes probably a code of rules. Somewhere along the line, probably religion, whatever. But again, that's the ethical argument is morality. Does morality precede religion? So when you think about it like that, I find that we often like to take the edge cases when we talk about like morality versus survival. Here's what I mean. Every time there's probably maybe a natural disaster or some bad thing or like, some bad thing that's happened to someone, human beings as a whole, the history of human beings is that we sort of rise to meet that disaster or that problem. We show up for people, right? Yet what sticks in our minds half the time at the edge cases when the worst of or our baser nature is what is on display, right? And so I'll use this other example. If we assume that there are millions and millions of people on the internet, right? Many of whom are, well-adjusted, normal people, right? And a bandit, again, I really hate this example. And a bandit does a giveaway online, right? You have to assume that most of the people who are on that page putting down their account numbers are serious edge cases. You have to assume, again, and this is where the problem with like, yes, we have a preoccupation with money, but I don't think this is a uniquely where bad people were Nigerians problem, right? I mean, we find I think, what story was this? I think last year, a couple of years ago, where people left perfectly great first world countries to go and marry terrorists, right? Like, that's insane. But again, when you think about it, these people are not the majority of society. These are super, super, super edge cases, right? So if you think about it like that, why do we debate it as, I don't think anybody in this room went to that TikTok live and dropped their account number. So what does that say about? Sure. Yeah. I mean, so what does that say about that?
Okay, there's a lot that have been said, and I feel like I just sort of want to address a lot, but I'm going to try to just. So my opinion is that humans are naturally evil. Okay, at our core, we are not good people. Okay. When a child is born, we then begin to nurture this child and to teach them what is right and what is wrong. And we do that because we often see a display of that evil, no matter how little it is. It could be slapping someone. I saw a video today. A couple was trying to prank their child, And so the father was crying, and the child, just ran to where the couple was seated, removed the father's glasses, and then slapped him. Like, why is a toddler? Where do toddlers learn how to slap or to hit people? Do you understand? So, and I mean, of course, violence, we can all agree that violence is wrong, right? Good. So, but you discover that with babies, one of the first, wrong things that they do is to show signs of violence by hitting, biting, or slapping. So, my point is, at our very core, we are bad people. Okay? It is true, and it is one of the reasons why we came together. I kind of disagree. I mean, I get your point, Muyiwa, right? But I kind of disagree when you say majority of us were not there giving our OPay account details or whatever. Do you understand? But it's also, that's why people sometimes ask the question, who are you when nobody is watching? Right? If you could drop your account number anonymously, right? And you are sure that you'll get 1.5 million naira from a bandit, will you or will you not do it?
That's a good question.
Right? So, I mean, many times we like to portray our goodness, right? But it's because people are watching. It's because we also have a name to live up to or a reputation. Do you understand? It does not mean that at our core, we are invariably good. In a way, yes, the moral decay, the moral decadence, right? You can point it to the issue of survival, right? Simply because when there is scarcity, okay, you find people struggling for limited resources. People forgo whatever they've been taught is right or wrong because it just returns us to the very, base nature of who we are as a people.
I get the context of where you're coming from, but what would be attuned would be more that humans have natural instinct for self-protection. So everything you see a young child doing is called self-protection.
Okay.
So self-protection even means to the great thing we're talking about. We want to put ourselves first all the time. We want to keep ourselves safe, and also it's self-protection. Then the second one is every human being, as long as they are on earth, are made up of both good and evil. So I always
Fair.
correct people that I don't see anyone as good and I don't see anyone as bad.
Okay.
We, like you said, we show and reveal the different parts of ourselves per time. And we always pray that only the good part shows. But there's light and darkness in every one of us here. We have not come to the circumstances where our darkness will show, maybe, but there is.
I think one way to think about it is modern society, in a sense, rewards conformity, right? And most of that rewarding conformity is a good thing. Go to school at this age, go to uni, get out of uni, get a job, have ambition, whatever. And if you dial it all the way back to sort of like the simplest unit of society, comes to family, right? So in a sense, children come into this world, cute potatoes, no real idea of what is right and wrong, right? The smallest unit of society sets all the rules of conformity for them, right? You do this, this is okay. You do this, this is not okay. And what have you and what have you? And one way to think about real survival, because I remember, I think during COVID, when people were going to stores and raiding stores so like and buying all the tissues and buying all the packs of water, right? One way to think about it in a sense is, oh, they don't care about any other person. They don't care that other people might not survive. But another way to think about it is that a lot of them were doing it for their families, right? Like when push came to shove, what really happened was the sphere of care, the sphere of the people they could care about sort of shrunk to what they considered like their immediate families, right? Or the people closest to them. We see this in all them action films where like the circle of people they want to survive just gets smaller and smaller. And anybody outside those circles, I don't think they really care one way or the other whether they live or die. And again, something else that's my argument for edge cases. The last thing is every time there's an incident of like a fuel tanker explosion, it's always the same set of things, right? Fuel pours on the road, a very small subset of people start scooping the fuel. It's just always like, it's never like a wild rush. You've seen those, I mean, you've seen those pictures or videos, or you've seen it happen. It's never like a flat out mad rush to scoop the fuel, right? How do you think of, like, again, that's why I keep saying, if you really think about it, would you not say those are edge cases? Is that you? Don't you need fuel? Right? We all need fuel. But we also realize that this thing is a bloody bad idea, man. Right? So even when you think about, like, oh, even if it's 1.5 million, the idea is simply that we know that somehow, again, it comes back to society. And if I think the Nigerian society has a problem, it's simple. It's that as far as conformity goes, what does the Nigerian society want us to conform to? We have the basic ones: go to school, blah, blah, blah. But right after that, it sort of flattens a little bit into just sort of make money. The how can be a bit fuzzy, right? But is that, when you really think about it, is that an individual morality problem? Or is it just a society that has not decided on, this is what good conformity looks like? So, yeah.
So where do we draw the line?
This goes back to my earlier point about how when we came together as a society, we said these were the rules, right? Don't kill, don't steal, don't, all of that. However, if you want to look at the Nigerian society, we as a people, we as a nation, we as a country, you discover that there is so much decadence and rot in the system, in our moral fabric that comes all the way from the top, right? And so what this means is that we are not left with very good examples, right, to teach the kids, to teach young folks, right, to say this is what is right and this is what is wrong. You have mothers who are taking their kids to HKs. Do we know what HK is? Aka Kingdom, Yahoo Boys headquarters, right? To say, I want my son to learn work under you. Do you understand? Like an apprenticeship. I didn't want water. But yeah, you get the point. So, and then when you have a system where the rich, who obviously got their wealth through illegal means, like to flaunt their wealth, right? We have a saying in Nigeria, I better pass my neighbor, right? I think it's very, it just shows the way we are at our core. We just want to be better than the next person to us, and then we want to be able to flaunt that, to show off. We want to oppress our neighbor. We want to, And so when you have a situation where judges are taking bribes, the policemen are taking bribes, right? The people who should be at, the very top of society, like a light to shine, to the rest of the people, to say, okay, this is an example of what it means to be good. As a society, we don't have that many people. Do you understand? Snakes are swallowing money in public offices, right? And we all know that what is really happening is that there's embezzlement and there is corruption. Do you understand? And so when you have a boy who is growing up in Ogbomosho, for instance, his secondary school is, run down, right? There is no roof. There are no chairs in the classroom. There are no teachers because, well, the teachers have left Ogbomosho to come and hustle in Lagos, right? And then you tell him that, oh, he should go to school, right? He should study, he should go to uni and all of that. But he's not seeing the pathway. Do you understand? And he's seeing Yahoo boys, right? Driving cars, doing all sorts. They become an example for him. Do you understand? And so, sadly, we've moved from where our moral compass is more about survival to the point where it is really just about, in my own opinion, right? I know that some of you would disagree with this, but it's really more about satisfying your base desires as a bad person.
As a bad person.
Yes.
That bad.
When morality, in my own opinion, is like questioned, I always often ask myself, the other people that are questioning this morality, or what on what yardstick are they using? Is that thing in the Bible that says like if you have never done these things, be the first to throw the stone. So what who here can actually throw a stone? Like who here hasn't done something in some degree that isn't like lawful? I mean, if you steal from your mother's pot and you steal from the national treasury, what's the difference?
One is
Exactly. No, I'm coming there. I'm coming there. I'm coming there. I'm coming there. So now, if you look at it that way, how I feel I would ever measure like some certain type of morality. I believe morality is the extent of which you're bad, because I believe everybody too. I agree with him that everybody is in it bad. The extent at which your bad extends is how moral you are. So if you have a small circle of people that are affected by your bad, you are more moral. But if you have a very big circle of people that are crying after you act, you are a very bad person. So yeah.
okay. So before we go on, I just wanted to remind us of the first question we had going into this, which was, have we ever done something or justified something that we knew wasn't right, but we felt it was justifiable because you were going through hardship at the time?
Times were not hard. I did not need to survive, but I just liked doing it. Yes. But and I get the point that we are trying to tie morality, okay, the extent to which people do good or do bad to survival, right? And yeah, it's an important discourse, But I just think that I mean, a lot of us here are privileged, right? So the extent to which we will likely do something that is bad for survival, right, is less than people who live under $1 a day. Can we agree on that? Right. So what it means is that, for instance, I mean, that sometimes you see in the news that somebody was arrested in ShopRite for shoplifting, and when they checked the content of the things that they stole, right, they saw baby food, right? So if the first headline is shoplifter arrested, you're like, now go catch him, right? But when they say, oh, baby food, diapers, like, oh, poor woman, they should pity her. Do you understand? And so, I mean, for us who are privileged, you might not find many examples of us doing something that is wrong because we needed to survive, But when you look at, and we are the poverty capital of the world, do you understand? A lot of things we have to question, even if we live in their poverty, right, in this country, because I mean, yes, I've done bad things, but I won't encourage a younger one, a cousin, a nephew, right, and I won't take my child to a Yahoo boy and say, train him. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So it now becomes, to what direction does my moral compass point to?
Okay. Okay.
Hi everyone, my name is Adi Jumake and lovely conversation so far. So I'm a psychologist and I would like to come from a psychological standpoint. We all have a brain and our brains have neural pathways. And I think while he was talking, and while you were talking, I made like mental notes on my tiny book here.
So you psychoanalyze those?
No, I did not actually. It's just like, I mean, we are just talking. So moving away from religion, law, societal values, what if we look at morality from a psychological point of view, in the sense that it's the capacity, like literally having the capacity to care about something outside of yourself when it costs you something? That's literally what morality is. Also, is the mental strength required to override your selfish instincts. We are all selfish individuals.
Yes.
I want the best for myself. I want the best for my family. But the moral compass here that we can all agree on is that, okay, whatever it is that's happening right now, if it's going to harm somebody else, I'm not going to do it. That's the moral compass. So psychologically, there are two stages of that. And I made a mental note here as well: moral state and survival state. Moral state is you can choose to be honest, to care about somebody and all of that, even if it hurts you. But you're choosing to, I don't want to do that because I don't want to hurt somebody else. But survival state is no longer a case of right or wrong. It's a case of safe or unsafe. And our brain is very funny. You can condition, so if I want to be a psychopath, I can condition my brain to make me into a psychopath. We can all do that. So now looking at it now, if you rationalize your brain to say, okay, I mean, if I do this thing, my family is safe. Somebody said something about, oh, thank God it's not my family. That's our brain speaking, and that's a normal way of thinking for everybody. I don't want bandits to come and kidnap my father and my mother. You don't want it for yourself as well. So our survival instinct here is going to be that, okay, if those people taking money from the bandits, there's no consequence for their actions, first of all. So they are very safe. Their brain has said, tick, I'm safe. No consequence. But if there's consequence, their brain is already saying, I'm unsafe. We all have, is it called flight or fright? You're either running away or you're staying there to fight, basically. Again, you said we are all privileged here. So it means that you can say that if you are thriving, you not think to be greedy. You not think to go and kill somebody. Yeah. You not think to go and kidnap. I was telling my colleagues at the office last week that I can decide to be a bandit tomorrow. It's very easy for anybody else to be a bandit.
Is it?
Yes, I want 100 million naira in my account. I don't know who you are, but I can take you and lock you up in my daddy's basement. And I'll check your phone and call all your contacts. They will give me the ransom money.
Don't be too sure about that.
They will. It's going to come out. They'll bring it. But what is stopping me from doing that? Because I'm thinking, okay, first of all, there's no need for me to do that because I'm comfortable. I'm more hungry. I'm more fighting for whatever it is that we are fighting for. Again, so I'm going to make a case for people that do bad things. If you are thriving, you are in a calm state of mind. Things are going decently okay for you. You don't see the need to want to act out of character. But when you're not thriving, when things are hard, your brain is already you're already in a fight. You know, if anything comes now, you're literally ready to fight. And when your psychosocial resources are depleted, your survival stress and everything, you can no longer regulate whatever it is that is happening around you. Because there's already a stressor that's attached to the brain. So like two sides of a coin. You're in a calm state, there's no stressor affecting you. So you can think straight. But your wife is in the hospital. You don't have money to pay for cesarean section. You go outside, you see boys picking pockets and doing stuff. They just throw the bag at you with 50 million naira inside. You're not gonna think, is this right or wrong? It's gonna be this safe. If I take this money to give to my wife now, she's gonna be safe. You're thinking about if it's safe for you or if it's unsafe for you. And then you look at it. If you take this money now, is anybody looking at me? Nobody's here. They just shoot at me. Jesus Christ smiled at me. Thank you, Jesus. We got money. But again, you got it through a bad means. So the brain is already thinking, is this safe? Is it not safe? It's not thinking, is this right? Is it not right? As long as, I'm fine. As long as my family is fine. I don't care about you. I don't care if it affects you or not. That's survival. Morality is, this thing is hard. It's going to harm you. I don't want to do it. Even though it's paining me. I can do this thing, but I don't want to do it because I don't want it to get hurt. That's like different sides of the coin, psychologically. Yes, thank you.
I think I'm just going to keep pushing this agenda that... And I'm going to be honest. If you think about the typical bad thing, I'll use a personal example. If you think about the typical bad thing, there's a lot of consequences, right? And when people do these things, they are aware of the consequences, right? Even if they need to survive, they know I'm going to do this specific bad thing. The consequences will be shit, right? And at that point, it's not typically survival that tips people over. One of my first jobs ever was at a microfinance bank, probably like 2010-ish. So this was a time when we would give out loans to small business owners, right? And the method of collection on a weekly or a daily basis was that you'd go to their stores or their shops and you'd collect cash. So what that meant for a lot of the people in the bank was that you had a specific day or specific days when you'd go to the market and you could come back with 300K in cash, 400K in cash. And it was manual reconciliation. So, but the thing that helped the small business owner was that they had a card of their own, sort of like 2FA, right? You write yours, you sign, they write theirs, they sign. But because the bank cannot see what it is that's with the customer until like a periodic audit, it allowed you to take small sums out of the customer's money, right? You went to the market, you came back, you said, I didn't get 400K, I got 320K, right? And you tell yourself, I'm going to pay it at the end of the month. It was such a common thing, right? And every time I thought about it, there were two guys in the office, Bode and some other guy. Can't remember his name now. We're working a 30,000 naira job. You needed to see Bode's suits. Like he was a dresser, like no jokes. He had this really tiny car at a time when, again, it's a 30K job. Oh, you need to remember this. If you worked in a bank, microfinance, commercial, one of the first things everybody in a bank knows, you can steal money for like 10 years. The stealing is not the hard part. What you know for a fact is that one day you will be found out. It's just how it works. And I remember the day Bode got caught, right? Like some customer just came to the bank very randomly, checked his balance and was like, this is not correct, right? And it ends up that Bode's mom had just retired, was fighting cancer, was using pretty much all the money she had saved up over the years to treat cancer. None of the money he was stealing was for her survival. Not a bloody red cent. So I was watching a video on YouTube the other day where the guy talked about a lifetime of selling drugs, right? And he was explaining that he did it just for the thrill. Yeah. That was it. There was no big reason. He thought about it, he knew the consequences, and he was like, this is the latest thing I can ever do in my life. So again, it goes back. There are millions of poor Nigerians who work shitty jobs, right? That pay little or nothing. And every time I tell people this, I always invite them to say, the bar you drink beer, right? Ask the waiters how much they earn. 30K, 40K, 50K, right? How much do you think the person, whatever malam has a stall on your street or the street adjacent or the street in front of your office, how much do you think they clear on a daily basis? People find money at the airport and return it. Some of them don't have the best lives. So if all it took for society to descend into chaos was the fact that each and every one of us needed to survive, right? We wouldn't have much of a society. This idea that this is real life. People lose family members. People lose their wives because they can't. People lose their husbands. People lose relatives because they can't raise money for anything. This is real life. You think it's just easy to go outside and pick up a gun because your family member needs to survive? That's not how it works. That's in the movies. In real life, the person will die. I swear. There's a lot of hoops to jump from. I need to survive, and I'm going to do this dastardly thing that I know has consequences, and I'm going to damn the consequences anyway. That's not your average person walking on the road, believe it or not.
Nigerians are making good things in every part of the country, from food and fashion to furniture, beauty, and everyday living products. There's a Nigerian somewhere rooted in our culture and lifestyle, crafting with intention and care. That's why good exists. When you come to Good Online or any of our physical spaces, we're making it simple for you to find what is genuinely good and made by a Nigerian. And anytime you choose a quality Nigerian product, you're helping a creator grow and keeping value in our communities. Join us. Visit good.online to find good things made by Nigerians.
All right. Thanks, guys. This building you're sitting in is currently called Good House. Good House is also a third space. So we have gathered shared experiences like this all the time. For example, next week or on Father's Day, we actually have a pop-up. And, it's actually something that would love boys, men, fathers, everybody is invited. Boys to learn from men to look up to fathers. Everybody can come around that day and actually try to, get more experiences like this. All right, thank you guys. All right, let's get back to the conversation.
Hi guys. Thank you for answering me. I guess the next question, and this block is looking at empathy. And I think this, matters more obviously in
social media era where everybody is like a thought leader online and whatnot. But do we still see people as human or only as opinions?
Hi everyone. So when you asked that question, I immediately remembered when on Twitter a very long time ago, people were divided into Laugh Won't Keep Me Dead Twitter and TBH Twitter, right? Why do I go all the way back? It's to say that, I mean, as far back as 10 years ago, right? Not even now when we say, oh, social media space is toxic. Do you understand? People are, rage baiting, quick to anger, right? Before, you had even political divides, which we see a lot on Twitter these days. You have, news, you have obedience, and all that is going on. We've always found a way to divide ourselves. And we divide ourselves because we don't see ourselves as people, but as opinions. That's just where I'm driving to.
The, the short answer is yes. We see each other as opinions as opposed to human beings. And globalization and again the rise of the internet is really the culprit for that. But um, what the aspect I'd like to highlight, because I think you did a very good job of speaking to that point, is because we are so many and at the same time we're all talking and we're all screaming. I have to say something that will catch your attention. You have to say something that will catch my attention. So my opinion isn't necessarily that it's not my opinion, it's what I think would catch attention. It's what I think someone will see this and will have the like will pay me the attention. So I'm not really even trying to make you happy. I'm not trying to make you sad. I'm just trying to make you pay me the attention. Especially now, if you're looking at how social media has become monetized, it's quite literal. You are paying attention. So if I know that I'm going to say something that right now will incense so many people, will provoke so many people to speak out and lash out, I will be feeling, oh yes, I'm getting my Elon money. You understand? So I think in a funny way, yes, we are seeing each other as opinions, but we're not really seeing ourselves as our own opinions. We're just seeing ourselves as the opinions that will pay us attention the most. I don't know if that makes sense.
So I think it's more of a question, right? And it sort of speaks to what he said. Do we think that people are their opinions? Personally, to an extent, I believe that people are their opinions. I feel like if you are comfortable saying some things, putting out certain things, I think everybody has values, good or bad. So I think that forms the core of who you are and the things that you are able to say comfortably and publicly, irrespective of whether or not money is being paid. So if we're tying it back to the first part of the conversation where we are saying morality, survival, I think that if you're a person of value, I don't think that you will collect money for everything and anything. And if you will not collect money for anything and everything, you will not tweet anything and everything. You will not put out certain things that don't show who you are at your core. So, yes, we are not seeing ourselves as people. We're seeing ourselves more as opinions. But I think we are our opinions. I think to a good extent, we are what we put out there, what we support, what we retweet.
It's so funny because it's kind of like very full circle. But like last election cycle, I stopped talking to like my oldest friend because he was a Tinubu supporter. And now I think that for me, it's like that question now comes back to like, can you coexist with people you don't agree with? Like, what does that look like?
So let me answer you. Sorry.
Yeah.
I think you can, but I think there's a degree to which you can. If it's going to cost your life, I don't think you should. And if
Fair.
we're speaking specifically to the kind of conversation we're having now when it comes to like politics, who you're supporting and everything, if you're supporting a government that does not give any care, any regard for human life, I mean, I think it speaks volume to who you are and what you do, right? And I think I will be very weary of that kind of person. I don't think that you should ostracize people like that. I don't think you should absolutely not relate with them. I just think there's degrees and measures to the things that you should do with them. So I wouldn't do business with somebody like that. I wouldn't have a very close-knit relationship with you. I can have a very, you can be my acquaintance and I will say, oh, hello, hi. But I think it stops there because if you don't have values as a human being, it's only a matter of time before you sell me. And I want to protect myself. So if I can see and hear how you think, how you relate, I don't want that. So that's what it is for me.
Okay.
I don't think we've become a set of opinions, right? I think we're still people. But here's the interesting thing we do. When we don't like an opinion, I think, and it's a social media thing. I don't think it doesn't happen in real life. When we don't like an opinion, there's a way we exaggerate the thing, the opinion. There's a way we caricature the opinion so that it excuses our lack of empathy for the person. Here's what I mean. There's no Nigerian government. There's no Nigerian government in recorded history that has not killed civilians. Not one. Not one. Right? People have supported all of them over time. Right? So when people, for instance, say, oh, I take away your right, I take my issues with your right to support this person, right? On the basis of this very thing, right? Should we take it all the way, right? And say, as long as you've supported any Nigerian government in recorded history, then I also reserve the right to say, I don't want you in my space. So that's what I mean. Like, there's a tendency to, when people say stuff like, oh, I stopped talking to my friend who supports this person, what they always say is because they're supporting a government that is killing us. Again, and here's for me the clearest example, an example that sticks in my mind, never leaves my mind, right? When Goodluck Jonathan was president, was it Goodluck Jonathan or no? When Muhammad Buhari was president, the Shiites were doing like just a run of the mill, an ordinary Tuesday procession, right? It was a religious observance, and then they ran into the convoy of the chief of army staff at that time, Burotai, right? And they asked them to make way, and they were like, "It's a big road, man. Just pass the other place." And the soldiers came down, and one thing led to another, and they started shooting at the unarmed people doing their protest. They didn't stop there, right? They did not stop there. Then they went to the enclave where the Shiites live and went door to door and shot them. By the time they were done, they had killed over 300 people. Yeah? And then they went to bury them in an unmarked grave. Nobody has paid for it. Not a single person. There are people in this room who supported a Buhari government. Even in his time as military dictator, he killed people. So do you see what I mean? I believe that, and it is once we don't like an opinion, or the opinion that, there's a way we push that opinion, and there's a way we make that opinion extreme to explain an action we take, right? And I've always said, in Nigerian politics, I believe, just leave, it's an opinion, right? It's a political opinion. What's the worst that could happen, right? So, yeah. Again, if I take it to the extreme, it is, if I also say, if you've ever supported any Nigerian government in history, I don't take your opinion seriously. Where does that leave all of us?
Before addressing what you said, I'll go to are we treating people as humans or as opinions? So I'll go back, and this is what I'll say. I believe that all human beings are, is it tripartite creature? Is that what they say? But we are body, soul, and spirit. You see, we can deal in this room with ourselves as, I can see your body and you can see mine, all right? But when you go online, I really can't see your body, except you put your picture on Instagram. But when we talk Twitter, I can't see your body. Your spirit is with you and your creator, wherever you connect your spirit to. What I can relate to, what you hear me say now, is a fruit of my mind, or of my soul. The mind is a solical component. So my opinion is who I am. You know, we are here because of somebody's opinion or because of somebody's mindset. You know, people's mindsets and opinions create things. We have airplanes or electric cars or whatever, this microphone, because of people's minds, right? And so when you say that Thomas Edison created electricity, you can't see him, but you can feel him. So because you can use what his mind has created. So and I also need us to understand that I don't want to go very spiritual, but I also need us to understand that when the Bible, for instance, says that the mind is willing, but the flesh is weak, rather. When the Bible says that the flesh is weak, or the flesh and the spirit are always at war with each other, the flesh there is not your body itself, because usually any sin or iniquity that you commit, it's first in the mind. You think about it first before you go and act it. So your flesh is really your mind. So people can and should be dealt with as opinions. Like what you think, you your body itself will not do anything to me, but if you think you will stab me, then your body will carry it out. So you are a product of. I'll deal with you really with what comes out of your mind. And when you tweet something, when you say something, they are the same. And I think that your tweet may even get to a wider audience. If without a microphone, you really cannot speak to more than maybe 5,000 people at a time. Your tweet can reach 1 million people. So because of that, I think that it is okay, very okay, that you treat people as a product of their mind, not even their body, because with their body you can be racist and stuff. But you treat people as a product of their mind. I feel like it's a better basis. And then speaking to, you said you won't do business with some people if they don't share like the same mindset. I'll do business with anybody, man. I'm selling this thing. If you like, you support it. You support this. If you like, be my related. Yeah, no, don't worry. I'm not attacking you. I promise you. Yeah, I'll do business with anybody. I agree with the part where you said the limits where there's a way you limit your interaction with that. But let's assume that your father is an APC supporter and your mother is does not like APC. Your father does not stop being your father and your mother does not stop being your mother, right? When there are other people, you really can say, oh, we don't share the same political beliefs, and I could go extreme, but what if we don't also share the same religious beliefs? What if we don't share this thing? So I just think that, however, I just think that your political affiliation, especially in Nigeria, is a fruit of maybe your values, your core values as a human being. So I understand, but we should also just understand that every human being let me round up now. Every human being is a product of first their background, their experiences, their present circumstances. And I feel like whilst dealing with people as their opinions or as their mindsets, we should be a little bit more gracious with each other. I think that is what is missing. 30 seconds and I'll drop this. I don't know your name, bro. No, they said every Nigerian government killed every Nigerian government has documented kills. What's the context? Well, like if there was war in a place, I know that at the point there was unrest at the place, and Obasanjo sent soldiers there to go calm people down. That's a very different context from people protesting police brutality, and you go fire live rounds at peaceful protesters. That is also different from the Shiites, and that was the same president, by the way. So you support a political party that same president emerged from. I could be right or I could be justified if I say that some of your core values do not include love for the average Nigerian, because this political party is known to clear. But again, people view things differently. Let's just be gracious to people and let people be people.
You can't say people's opinions are like you should see people as their opinion, because people's opinion change. So if somebody is saying today that
oh, I think Buhari is mad. Tomorrow, Buhari might do something for the person, and the person might not even see it. Everybody might not see it, and then they will look at it as the person might not say, oh, I don't think Buhari is this person anymore. Life would definitely happen to people, and then people's opinion would change. So you can't say that people are their opinions. On social media, everybody's following everybody. Like, because some things are popular, people tend to like support what is popular, and not even because that person is even saying something that is meaningful or in any way. So I feel like people should actually psychoanalyze people. Like, you don't just say, oh, this person said, oh, I'm stupid. And you should actually ask questions. Why did you say this? Because wait, like, why do you think I'm stupid? Like, wait, like, because I feel like social media and everything, you're like, oh, this girl wears designers and all these things, and then she comes and says, my this thing is this, my this thing is that, and I'm of the opinion that then you now say, okay, this person is like that. Like, I mean, in social media is allowed, but I don't think you should like totally say that people are their, not even totally at all. I don't think people are their opinions.
If you're saying, oh, people are their opinions, I think we're looking at it from the bad perspective. Like, we're not looking at the possibility of someone performing for an audience, which is what a lot of us do. I feel like we generally perform, but we'll pretend that we don't perform. Like, you're still going to perform to some extent. And I feel like there are a lot of people who perform goodness or say certain things because they know it's going to be popular. They know people are going to be like, oh, yeah, I agree with this. Exactly. So I'm not going to take someone for their opinion.
Okay, so I think for me now, I think this now boils down to the idea that are we saying why are you not being your authentic self online or offline? Do you understand? So because you're thinking something else and you're saying because this person or because this is the popular opinion, let me go with it, then you're not authentic. So which brings about the whole idea of are you existing for survival mode or like your morality? Who are you as a person? So I won't go to a space and say something I don't mean.
I think in this particular context, it's not about just going with the crowd. I think it's on social media what people often do when they're following the popular opinion. When they're following the popular opinion, it's not them not being authentic. It's them not having all the information around it. So they just go with whatever has already been displayed to them in that particular video or that particular tweet and just build their opinion of it. And that is the popular thing that they're talking about.
Okay, let me just quickly add something. And she also said something like, not everybody, like, how will I even put it? Not everybody thinks. I'll just say that, like, if you're not psychoanalyzing people, then I don't think you should, like, just say things to them that this person is this, and you just, like, finalize everything. And if you're not open-minded as a human being, that. Okay, but that's not thinking. We're talking about opinion, quote unquote. Like,
Voice your opinion.
wait, okay, now say as I said earlier, like, on social media is not and can never be real life. It is. It is not at all, because everybody is fronting something. Everybody is creating a persona like that they want everybody to see. That is. But yes, exactly. So that's why everybody is performing. That's why everybody wants something that is popular to make it.
No, everybody's not performing.
A lot of people are performing. Even you, when you want to take pictures, sorry, would you like before you take pictures or before you want anything to go in public, what do you do first?
Let me tell you. If you go to my wait. Go to my Instagram right now. There's so many videos of me very unkept on my social media where I'm talking. I don't care. No, I don't care. No,
Why is everybody talking about social media? What about in real life? People have terrible opinions in real life. Your neighbors, your friends, your family members, and they have terrible opinions. So yes, people have their opinions in real life. Leave social media alone.
Okay, so I think I want to I think there's the ideal and there's the reality. Ideally, we should be authentic, we should be truthful, we should show ourselves. But in the world that we are, perception is powerful. And so people would want to put themselves in a way that will be acceptable, recognized. It's not good, it's not bad. So we have to be careful. But what I want to just add to this is that if you want to judge, I'm talking from a therapist point now, the true judge of the person is observation of their actions and never the words. Because I was telling my kids one day, I said, people can say everything. I can go for an interview and ensure that I'm the CEO, I get the job because of what I'm saying. And that's why you see there's a lot of job issues with employing and employers and all of that. But watch and observe people's action. You will know the truth of who they are.
Yeah.
But now when social media, he talked about body, we can't see you. We can't watch you. So what do we do? So I think personally is that I separate people's opinion from who they are. I don't think people necessarily will practice what they preach. They may have all the good stuff and share it. I receive the message, not necessarily the messenger. It's why I don't even judge, some pastors. Some messages are solid. Like, I don't like Deeper Life, but I love some of Kumoi's messages. I love some of this. So I receive messages and not necessarily the messenger, because it's possible for a messenger to be flawed and the message to not be flawed.
Yeah, I think we shouldn't see people as their opinions solely because also the first thing she said was that people's opinions change. Today, there was a point in my life where I felt like I really wanted to have children, right? Because of the way people used to make it seem. And then living life, my mindset changed. Like, I don't think I want to have to put my body through this and this and that. But then when I first brought it up to my mom, her opinion would be like, oh, you just want to go with what everybody's doing, whatever, whatever. I don't think you should I think you should separate people from their opinions, because not only can people's opinions change, right? But also with the fact that sometimes people can make or form opinions based on a situation and circumstance that they are in. And also the thing where she said you should psychoanalyze people. She also said you don't have time on social media to be psychoanalyzing. But I feel like in real life, you should psychoanalyze it. Like, that's why I think we should separate the real life and the social media thing. Because if, like she said, when someone tell you, oh, why are you stupid, you should ask questions. Try and find out where's this person's opinion coming from. Don't just assume, okay, this person. There's one rage-baited cruise thing I watched where it was one Tinubu person versus 100 people that were not Tinubu. And you know that when I calmed down to listen to what that Tinubu person was saying, there were some things that you'd be like, okay, let's look at it from this point of view. No, no, for real. Wait, I'm not entirely saying that what they said was bad. I'm not saying that entirely what the guy was saying was true. But if you break it into bits, if you try and calm down to listen to certain things, I'm not saying the entirety of what he was saying, but if you calm down to listen to some things that he was saying, not like you try and get, okay, this and this and that, right? And exactly this is why this person is thinking that. If you can ask yourself questions, there are some things where people were like saying that, okay, let's just not to be so political, right? Let's talk about the subsidy thing. There are two angles to that thing. People came from the opinion that, oh, he should have removed subsidy. But the thing was that if he didn't remove subsidy, something, and then other people were like, he should have removed subsidy, but he should have done it in bits. That was someone coming down to say, let me see where this person is coming from. So I don't think you can merge people and their opinions. You can have opinions about 100 billion and thousands of things, but you should look at the person. Oh, where's this person coming from?
I would like to clarify that. I don't mean I can't sell to somebody that's like, yeah, no. So there was context to what I was saying, which is I can't have a partnership with someone that has certain mindsets, right? If you tell me that you support Tinubu and I try to empathize or try to hear you out and say, okay, sorry, why do you do this? And I bring up points like, oh, this person forced his way into power, right? They rigged the elections. Most of, like, a good number of APC politicians, you tell them, okay, do this in this community, they take the money, and you try to excuse it. I'm sorry. That's a fundamental flaw in your value system. I don't want to do business with you. I'm so sorry. Do you understand? So it's not just about you supporting Tinubu. It is your value system. I feel like we will always keep having scenarios. What if this one? What if that one? What if, like, at what point do we stop? We'll keep shifting the goalposts. At what point do we stop, right? Even when she said, I agree with you that, like, opinions change. But that's why your opinions cannot be based on very random things. You have to have a core. You have to have an anchor. If you don't, you will keep changing your opinions every time. And again, see, you can have opinion of I like blue, you like red. That's an opinion, that's okay. But if your opinion is fundamentally like affecting your lives of other people, can potentially like do more harm in the long run. I'm sorry, you have to think about it properly before you say this is your thing or this is your opinion.
So I love the interesting conversations we're having and how we're going, left to right. And we're saying that people should not be judged, based on their opinions and all of those things. Um, I feel like if we look at the way we're analyzing this, we're being a bit, I don't have any other word to use, so I'm not attacking anybody, but it's like we're being two-faced about it. Because if we're being two-faced about things, because if someone's opinion, for example, gets you recognition, gets you a position, brings good things to you, right? We feel like, yes, it's good for you to be judged by that opinion. But then when it's now turning sour, we now go, but we can't really judge, people by their opinion. What I think has happened at the end of the day is that there is there's a watering down of our value system to such a state where things like honesty, integrity don't necessarily matter anymore. I understand that, there's a portion of, let me use scripture as the easiest thing for me. When I was a child, I thought like a child, and all of those things, spoke like a child, and then you grew. There is room for growth.
Okay.
And so based on you transitioning in terms of your experiences and your views, I am allowed to judge you by your opinion at the time. However, that's where the concept of empathy come in, to now say that when I then see the new version of you, I can understand and empathize that, you have grown into a new person, so to speak. But whether we like it or not, whether we, argue from today till next year, the fact remains that we will always judge people by their opinions.
Okay.
The only other thing is that we can then decide afterwards, or maybe there's now grace to have interactions to then say, offering grace. So whatever it is that you put on social media, people say, oh, don't judge me by, oh, they're going to judge you when they start to research on who you are. Some of the things you put out there would, make people decide if they are going to take you for roles or not. People, you can't say that when it's good, judge me by that. Take me, I'm a good candidate because of all the things I'm putting out there. And then when it's not now right, we're now saying that. So we can argue, but you will be judged by your opinion. However, grace should also be given to growth, not well thought out. I can say there are certain things that are well thought out foolishness. Yeah, like it's like that thing where I'm doing it because everybody's doing it. I'm doing it because it's cool and whatnot. You are an extension of what you say. Okay, can you separate me from my words? Can you separate me from my words?
100%.
Whether you realize it or not. If I leave this place and you don't vibe with my opinion, or I've said something that you perceive, by the way, as stupid, I will be that stupid girl in orange. Whether I ask that you give grace or not. So it matters. The opinions that we put out there would always be used as a basis for judging us, whether we agree to it or not. You cannot be consistent about putting certain things out and you say not to be judged by it. No, you will be. We will judge you by it. We will wear our full regalia and judge you by it. The same way somebody is spewing, you people say, oh, that person, oh, that something guy is a very smart person. If we're saying we're not judging, how do we know that the person is a smart person? So you're an extension of your opinion, you're an extension of your voice, you're an extension of anything that you put out there. And we can't say separate it only in times where we feel like, okay, this is not looking good. If we ask everybody a question in this room, that if you were judged based on your opinion and you got something good, a good reward out of it, would you take it? If we can agree as to a yes, then whether we like it or not, we would be judged by our opinion. Thank you.
A person's opinion will 100% never be this, and I will second that by saying this. Okay, this morning, like just very short, I'm just going to rub off. Like, so I was coming back from the gym and then the writer was talking about Shetima, Tinubu, and everything, and how like the way we see Muslims, that there are different sections of being a Muslim. It's not just one Muslim. There are people that believe in like the Sharia law and all those things, and there are certain people that think that even some Muslims are sinners. Do you understand? And then you will now think about it that, and I told him that, oh, like Gus was saying that, okay, what if his question first off was like, oh, what if they, like everybody in Nigeria now that they, like if Tinubu dies, God forbid, and Shetima takes over, and then everybody becomes a Muslim. And I said, okay, being a Muslim is not a bad thing. I'm a Christian. If truly they're saying that, oh, is a religion of peace, the way they make it sound and everything, I do not believe. But I have Muslim friends, I have Muslim family members, and I will never say that they are bad people. Do you understand? But they have opinions, they have beliefs, they have things that they stand by, experiences. They were born into it. So a person that was born into that kind of like religion or anything, or if a person was constantly raped, and the person will tell you, somebody will come and tell you that rape is good. I think that without rape, I cannot survive. And then you see that person and keep saying that that person is their opinion. No, you wouldn't say that. There's a lot that, wait, there's a set of brainwash. But that's the truth. There's a set of like, there's a lot of work you have to do for that person. I mean, that's why I say social media is not real life. And if you're not psychoanalyzing people, then I don't think you have any right to like come up and say that, oh, this person, whatever this person does, the person is cancelled, this person is a bad person, and or if you're not psychoanalyzing them. But if you're psychoanalyzing, then I think you're contradicting yourself for saying that, this and that, because people have reasons for saying what they say and why they do things. If you are looking at that angle, so people are never their opinions, because opinions change when people have more information, when they know better. So that's all I have to say.
Just to say something, I'll give the mic to you. It's actually is 100% okay for you not to agree with what I have said, and it's also perfectly fine for me not to agree with what it is that you said. In fact, that is the essence of the conversations that we are having, and so it's okay. Your voice actually matters.
Okay. Do you want to say
So
something?
yeah, just wrap up. I love the passion, obviously, because you've had a lot of experience around what you're saying. So I feel it. My own point is both of you are actually speaking around reality and ideal. So when you were speaking, constantly you said it should. It should. When should is being a word is ideal. But what is happening now is reality. So two truths can exist. Two truths can exist.
Okay, so now this is like the part where we see if anyone has changed their minds about something tonight. So, is there anything you've heard tonight that has challenged you?
Maybe not something that has changed my mind yet, but something to go home to ponder about is a response when I said, even when you nuance the support, or you nuance the stance that you are. So if let me just go straight to the APC. Are you supporting him because of this, because you like the man, you like what he's doing, or you're supporting him because you're benefiting from it? You know, I would have just said, oh, if he's eating from it, but he's thinking differently, I understand. But then she said something about just having boundaries, and what she said is, how long are we going to keep nuancing this? How long are we going to keep shifting posts or making excuses? And I just feel like that is something to go home and just ponder about, like, oh, should it be a hard yes, hard no? Or should I continue to like maybe just nuance it?
Not an opinion changed, but I think it's just a reminder to always give grace, and just understand that, the beauty of humanity is the fact that we would always have varied opinions, but then we can find a way to find a center point, so to speak. So for me, it's just that let's give grace to one another. For those that are talking about different political parties, you'll be amazed that the general ideal or your perception of that, political party might not be great, but the reason why that individual is supporting them might be totally different. Random example could be somebody can think that it takes a mad person to be able to rule Nigeria at this point with the level of porosity that we have. I'm just saying, so it's like random, and the person is not saying I endorse all of the things that is, going on. By the way, I don't support anybody. I've not found the one yet, but I'm just saying that. So sometimes also is to listen as to the why, not just, discard, because you might think that is the full picture and it might just be, one thing that they're saying, well, or it could even just be a case of, lack of choice. Who are the other alternatives or whatnot? So people make opinions or, function themselves for different reasons. But let's just give grace, generally, listen, and you always have a choice to be honest, redefine relationships or choose what opinion works for you or doesn't work. So yeah, that's it
Okay.
pretty much.
I have something to say, something that changed in my perspective after listening to everyone. First off, we all experience life differently. That was something that I was able to learn. Secondly, when I am pressured, when it seems like I am faced with my morality against survival, what do I do? That was really like a question for me in my own mind. I'm usually of the opinion that we should choose ourselves first. But one of the things that I learned here today is as much as that is important, I should also give room to other people sometimes.
There was someone else that said something about asking why. Like, why? Okay. Like, why are you saying that? I still hold my stance on your opinion. But I think that going forward, when I, yes, I will ask, there are some questions I will ask Aisha, but I think generally I've learned that, okay, just to understand you doesn't mean that I will eventually agree with what you're saying, but just understanding you enough to give you a certain level of grace and empathy and also knowing where to put you in my life. Yeah.
That part is important. To be honest, like in general, I never really have like fixed opinions. So I think that's where I even start from. I always start from a position of I think everything and anything can be everything and anything else. Like nothing is ever. And this has actually proved it. Like two people saying the same thing but meaning different things, but like other people are hearing that it's the same thing. I think it's part of why we have a lot of disagreements in the world, just in general, right? And I'm also tying it back to our original topic of survival and morality, where some people just feel like nothing can ever, like, no matter what you're going through in life, nothing can justify you doing this. Meanwhile, people are going through the worst, like, people are going through things that other people can't even imagine. You can't even imagine. So that's why you can't justify it, right? But does it actually justify it at the end of the day? Like when she said, oh, people are humans. People are humans. But then what of the psychopath that like killed 1,000 people? What do you say about that person? He's
He's
human,
an animal.
right? But like, but then what next? Is he going to live among us freely? So it's always just those things, those many different. There's always different sides, like continuously. Life is just complex like that, and that's why I keep an open mind in general. So that's my general thoughts based off of everything that everyone has said. Maiwa?
I think the one thing I'm kind of thinking about is more like, and I think this was when we were talking about like the values that we want to represent, and obviously some of it being performative. And I think like what I took away from that was just like, man, you just have to be clear about what you stand for. So like, it's not even, it's not debatable. Like, there's nothing to question. Like, so, and I think obviously part of it also comes like to the things we do when people are watching and the things we do when people are not watching, and just trying to ensure that like there's that consistency in like actions and thoughts. And I think obviously that just comes from just having like a clear sense of self and being able to like reflect that in the world.
You know how dangerous the bandits are, how people talk about bandits. And I grew up in like Port Harcourt till I was 10. So there was this Hausa boy that, where it's like, there was this Hausa boy that was living with someone that they just brought him from the village. I'm just trying to tell you how bandits were formed. I'm not giving excuses for banditry, don't get me wrong. But these people were This boy wasn't treated like a human being at all. And it is normal human instinct to do what? To retaliate. When you see that this person, the both of us, we are men. So why am I treated this way? So they have like-minded people that they are cripples, that people don't even look at them as human beings. I'm very, very emotional, and like I 100% believe that even the Bible does not pray that we pray against, like they does not say that we pray against these people. They say that we should pray for them. And that is the religion I believe. It's true that they are destroying people and they are doing bad things and all that, but I still want to stand that people are still not their opinions or whatever they do or their actions, because most times you never know where they are coming from. You don't know what they do. You don't even know how people have trampled on them or made them feel. I've never, like, I'm from a loving family, but I happen to be like, I'm an empath to a core. So I don't think that the way everybody's talking, like sounding like as if, oh, everybody's all nice, oh, I'm critical, think about it this way. That's why I said every time you should always remember that when you meet somebody, they have struggles, they have stuff they are going about, like just that your kindness, that they don't need your judgment, they just want you to see them as human beings first and foremost. No. Wait, I'm just trying to talk about the brand. I'm just using them as an example because everybody sees them as terrorists, they are killers, they are everything. But those people were once. Wait, they were once children. They were once people that people didn't even look at as if they are important. We use them as marua, as just very little things. And now these people just creep up and they're like, since people don't see us as human beings, then we can as well kidnap people. Can as well do. I'm not giving excuses.
Okay, so we have to end now. Thank you so much. Before Dami speaks, because I know after you speak, someone else will want to speak. There's going to be Town Square again next month. So everything that you've not said here, come and say it.
Okay, what's her name? Yeneme. Okay, so I like the passion and I like the empathy. And I was smiling. I'm like, are you sure you're not going to be a therapist? Because our code of contact is first empathy. I've worked with ex-convicts, a lot of them, prisoners, and I want to just say two lines that what you've said, that's why I always say to people, two truths can always exist. So I'll say the two lines. So the first line is always good to understand the why. So I always teach 3 layers of why. Always ask why, right? But understanding, be careful, understanding doesn't mean acceptance. If you don't have that boundary, there will be struggle in life, right? Now, the second aspect to things, and this is for all of us as humans, I think I've practiced for 12 years now, and I've seen good people go into prison in 24 hours, and they're spending their entire life for just one simple mistake. So you will see them, you go there, you talk to them, and you're already judging them. Oh, he's a murderer, but there is something, there is a story. We are all carrying a story, but we don't know where that story will lead us. Some people, their story just shifted into that one mistake that has made them spend their entire life in the prison. So yes, I love the empathy, but then empathy doesn't necessarily mean acceptance.
So we've come to the end of the session. We were supposed to end 30 minutes ago, but I mean, you want to agree with me that we enjoyed the conversation too much to end it. And ideally, I was going to ask what we thought the next topic would be, but I feel like that will now turn into 30 minutes. So, so we're going to let you know. We have your RSVPs, so we're going to be communicating with you. We won't spam you, I promise. And we will let you know when the next session is going to be. But did you enjoy this session?
Yes.
And do you now have a clear answer for whether survival killed morality? Yes or no?